It's 10 after 5 somewhere in the world. Actually, I think Newfoundland, it's 10 after 5 because I think they're an hour ahead of the East Coast, 2 hours ahead of Central Time, which is where I am right now. Today's reading is kind of interesting, and after the first quote, I went and did some research online, and I'll share that with you. So I'm still not 100% sure what to make of it. So anyway, welcome to another reading from the Science of Mind Daily Guides, courtesy of Creative Life Spiritual Center and our writer this month, Reverend Raymond Anderson. So here we go. First quote is from a gentleman. I think he's a retired anyway. He was a dental surgeon by the name of Andrew Hollick, and he's written several books. One of them was called Reverse Meditation. And on page 4, this is what he has to say. We all want to feel good, but where does your meditation go when things go bad? The reverse meditation makes you feel better, even when the crap hits the fan and things feel bad, by expanding your sense of what better and bad truly mean. Your comfort plan can evolve to encompass the most uncomfortable experiences. So I had to go and look up reverse meditation, which I did. Found some information. I'll share it with you afterwards because I want to do the reading first. When he says, even when the crap hits the fan, well, one of my college lecturers was a bit more polite. He said, when the fertilizer hits the mechanism, and I'm sure you can figure out what that means. Ernest Holmes in Ideas of Power on page 42, paragraph 4 in some edition says, I believe everything is as real as it's supposed to be. If a person hurts, they hurt. If they feel bad, they cry. There is want, lack, and apparent limitation in human experience, and there's no use denying it. But perhaps it doesn't need to be denied, that is. Perhaps it is not intended to be. And that doesn't 100% make sense, but anyway. Raymond Anderson asked the following question. How many people on the planet today are in some kind of pain? Too difficult to answer? How about this? How many people do you know personally who are experiencing some kind of pain? It could be grief, anxiety, fear, or physical pain. Understanding pain is a tricky thing, especially when we consider the various nuances and shades of how people experience pain. Take grief as an example. No two people grieve in the same way. The stages of grief serve as a general reference point, while the actual grieving varies widely from person to person. In New Thought, many posit that we should not feel pain, that we should hurry and change our thinking about it. After all, pain is directly linked to our consciousness and belief in limitation, right? Holmes said, quote, everything that is wrong in our experience, whether we call it pain, sickness, poverty, or unhappiness, is the denial of the allness of God, end of quote. What do we then make of this statement? Do we really suppose that the person who hurts as a result of an accident, the death of a loved one, or the tragedies of war make this pain feel? Let me read that again. Do we really suppose that the person who hurts as a result of an accident, the death of a loved one, or the tragedies of war feel this pain because they are denying the allness of God? No. For today, we simply sit with the awareness that pain exists. Suffering exists. If not for us, then for someone else in the world. Breathe and be aware. Okay, so I said I looked up Andrew Hollick and reverse meditation, and there's a quote here from Zvi Ish Shalom, his PhD, professor of world wisdom at Naropa University. I don't know where that is. I didn't look it up. He says, one of the most important books on meditation ever written. That's this one, Reverse Meditation. Reverse Meditation is a must-read. The how-to manual for transforming our painful contractions into expansive freedom. And it goes on to say about Andrew Hollick using ancient technologies of awakening, contemporary ones, different practices, and so on and so forth. Where he says, showing us how to reverse our habitual tendency to turn away from our pain and discomfort, and instead to turn toward our suffering, in order to experience the spacious freedom that abides at the heart of every moment. Well, I've got to admit, I've got to think about this some more. Obviously, I read this before I got on here. I've got to think about this some more. You know, Holmes tells us not to deny these things. Whatever the quote is here, it doesn't matter. Holmes tells us time and again that we don't deny the bad stuff, quote unquote, the pain, the grief, etc., etc. But he says what we do is we acknowledge it, and then we turn away from it, and we focus on what it is that we truly want. So Holmes never, ever, ever said to deny the existence of pain, poverty, etc., etc. No, he told us to admit it, but then turn away from it and focus on what we want. I don't know how reverse meditation figures into all this. I've got to do some more research before I can come up with an opinion on this. And since this is part one of, what do you call it? Bold recognition of pain. Since it's part one, I think I'm going to reserve my judgments until I've read part two. Because as I said, I've not read the book. I don't understand the book's approach because I haven't read it. So I really need to dig down and do that. But in the meantime, I'll do some more research. I'll read tomorrow's reading. And then I'll come back and make some more observations on it. But what I can say in the meantime is this, that, you know, Holmes was always intended us to believe that this world is real. There are some philosophies in the world that say this is all a mirage and it really doesn't exist. You know, lots of them. There's different parts of Hinduism that would say that it's just a mirage. There's A Course in Miracles would also say that. You know, one of the best known people in A Course in Miracles, Renard, wrote a book called The Disappearance of the Universe. Certainly Gnostics, for the most part, feel that all this isn't real. Holmes never felt that. He never said that. He said it's real. But our job really is kind of to make this real better, if that's anything. So it's going to be a fairly short reading to me because, as I said, I need to do some more research. I need to read tomorrow's reading. And then when I come back to do tomorrow's reading, I'll give you some more important information that I find out about it because, hey, it's always good to know what you're talking about. What else can I say? Not a lot, really, you know, except the affirmation kind of gives us an inkling, a little glimpse into the idea that Reverend Raymond looks at this. He said, I hold a space that is compassionate and empathetic as I recognize, acknowledge, and honor the experiences of those in pain. He says, I do not turn away. I would say, I acknowledge, and then I move on to what I want. When I read the affirmation, he's not talking on a personal level, in a sense. He's saying he's holding this space for other people. The affirmation doesn't address anything about how we individually interact with it for us. So I need to read more about this. This may not be a very satisfying reading, but it does one thing. It gives us food for thought. And anything that gives us food for thought is good, because it's making us look deeper into things. As we said not too long ago, Holmes always said, my teaching is open at the top. I didn't come up with all this philosophy and then say that's the end of it, that's the final word in it. No, he said the opposite, as we talked about the other day. It's open at the top. People will come along with ideas which will be far superior to mine, which will take what I've said to a higher level. And that's always good. So, what do you think? This is one time when I think I might try and get somebody on tomorrow to discuss this, because it's a great subject for discussion. A lot of them aren't, but this one is. So I'm going to see if I can get somebody who I think will be perfect for this and get them on live tomorrow to have a discussion about it. It may be Saturday when I can finally get somebody on, but we're going to do it. We're going to have, one way or the other, we're going to have a discussion about this topic. So until next time, please take care of yourselves. If you are in pain in any way, shape, or form, physical, mental, emotional, reach out. Reach out to us. If we cannot help you, I promise you, we'll find somebody who can. And this, you could argue, is spiritual. You could argue it's just straightforward human common sense. But reach out to us. That's what we're here from. Please, please, please give us a like on wherever medium you see this, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, whatever it is. Give us a like, because that helps us go up in the rankings, and it all helps us to pass this message on to more people. So until next time, take care of yourselves. Namaste.